start of the Carlton and United Breweries 1993 AFL Premiership season.
The Cats certainly breaking their drought against the Hawks, who have still to find some good form. 46 points the margin in the end. Brown was back to form with 7 goals and 2 each to Scott, Tudor and Hickmott. For Hawthorn, Jason Dunstall got 5 and Allen got 2. No reports and no injuries. 31,492 at Waverley. And at the MCG this afternoon, the Demons' poor form also continued. They went down by 29 points to North Melbourne. Carey got 7 goals and 2 each to Roberts, Allison and Ramiro got a single. So too did Schwash, Pyman, Stevens, Archer and Blakey with Shog and Longmire. For the Demons, Lyon got 5, Lovell 2 and Neitz 2. And some bad news for Melbourne supporters. Jimmy Steins is believed to be suffering from broken ribs, and Scotty Palmer will have more on that shortly.
Time now to check the CUB AFL 1993 Premiership Season League ladder.
And 4 teams on the top, sharing top billing with 12 points each. But Adelaide, of course, unbeaten with the 100% match ratio. It's Adelaide from North Melbourne, St Kilda and Collingwood all on 12. The West Coast and Footscray making up the 6 on 8 points. Geelong and Hawthorn also have 8. And down the bottom, Sydney and Melbourne yet to open their account. Scotty Palmer joins us after the break.
Sometimes you're offered so many choices, it can get very confusing. But it's not hard to see which everyday bank account to choose. A passbook account? Or a streamline account? Which bank makes banking straightforward? The Straightforward Bank.
It's fantastic.
Incredible.
They say it's full of cheese.
Oh yeah, you can tell.
It's McDonald's Triple Cheeseburger. 1, 2, 3 slices of cheese, 3 all-beef patties with ketchup, mustard, pickles and onions.
It is full of cheese.
McDonald's Triple Cheeseburger.
I wish this could last forever.
No, it's only for a limited time.
It's Mac time. Here comes the future. Time to fire up. Now's the time to get this country rolling. We're off and running, and we're gonna win. Gotta get up early in the morning. This is Australia calling.
70,000 Aussies make our telecom what it is today. They're the only phone company that gives you whatever service you need. They're a world leader in communication, and they're all ours.
This is Australia calling. This is Australia calling.
When you have the tradition, the pride and the spirit, it shows in everything you do.
Yo, here it is, and there you are, take it nice and slow. Yo, sunshine coast, no pain, no strain, no stress, beautiful one day, perfect the next.
What would you say to a 5-night East-West Sunshine Coast holiday for this great Queensland price?
Yo, way to go.
Next, the team from Beyond 2000. Tonight, a personalised mobile phone number you can use anywhere in the world. Then join Inspector Morse.
And welcome back. Time to go up to Scotty Palmer from the Sunday Herald Sun. Scotty, and I guess the Saints are really celebrating tonight.
It's terrific down there at Victoria Park tonight, Pete. Ken Sheldon got up on a bench in the club rooms and he said, "Boys, there's an old saying in footy. Tonight you can kick up a rumpus, but don't lose sight of the compass. That means you can go out and have a good time, but remember who you are and where you are.
Did Travis Page, with his gravelly voice, have much to add?
Yeah, Travis said it was the most exciting days in his presidency, and he said almost as good as 66 when they won the premiership. Kenny said, you know, that we were rated the underdogs today, but we've gone a long way to disproving that. And he said, now it's our turn to create a reputation for ourselves.
Now, Nicky Winmar, I understand, made an interesting revelation after the match.
Yes, he was a fantastic player today. He said he came that close to leaving the Saints after that finals episode last year when he was injured and he didn't get to hospital in time, but he said he just couldn't leave his mates. The thought of playing against the Saints was too much to comprehend.
A couple of downers for the Saints, Harvey injured and Greg on crutches, and Frawley reported.
Yes, it didn't take the shine off the celebrations tonight. Harvey's got a groin injury to Greg, and he's hobbling around, but he's still enjoying himself.
Well, Lee Matthews, I understand, wasn't happy about the draw, was he? Because they only had 5 days to prepare.
Quite philosophical about it. He said as soon as he went out and saw the reserves being beaten by 40-odd points today, he knew he was in trouble. He said tardiness, leg speed and all was against the Collingwood. And he's going to make another submission to the league about the draw.
Scotty, I mentioned just prior to the break, Jimmy Steins was believed to be suffering a rib injury. Are the ribs broken, do we know?
Yes, definitely broken. 3 to 6 weeks, 136 games on the trot he'd played. It's all over. It's one of the things that he was liking to keep going. He was very proud of the fact that he was so hardy in the field, but it's all over now.
And out at Waverley, of course, Scotty, the Cats 46-point winners over the Hawks. Blighty had a team meeting, but what does Joycey do now?
Well, Joycey was very croaky today. He'd done a lot of barracking, obviously. He said very disappointing, both individually and collectively. We played very badly. The score flattered us. We asked him, what about it, Joycey? What are you going to do? He said, you saw it, you write it, my job to get them up.
Well, Blighty certainly got the Cats up. What did he do?
Well, he had a team meeting on Tuesday night and he said everyone took responsibility. Particularly pleased with all those North Melbourne players, McGrath, Steele, Tudor and Pickering. None of those guys had played against the Hawthorn side that had ever beaten. They got it today.
All right, Scotty, we'll leave it there, and only one thing left to say.
Keep on punching, mate.
Good on you, mate. Scotty Palmer, that just about takes us out from the AFL today. Don't forget the big double header, and we head off tomorrow at 1 o'clock with the game from the SCG Sydney and Essendon. Hope you can join us there.
The name of the game is Australia.
Ernie Dingo and Jerry Connolly present a night of wall-to-wall stand-up comedy, including Shane Bourne, Sean Hughes, Rachel Berger, Effie, and the Pizza Man. Plus, special guest Lenny Henry. The 93 Comedy Festival premieres Wednesday.
GIO Australia thinks as much of everything in your home as you do. So if your faithful appliance or favourite furniture is stolen or destroyed in a fire, GIO will replace it with a brand new one. New for old, no matter how old. It's a refreshing idea in home contents insurance. Why trust the things you know and love to GIO Australia? To be really sure. Give GIO Australia a call.
For a big choice and cost savings, you can't beat shopping at the supermarket. Melbourne Car Supermarket, a big group of independent dealers, all at one convenient location. 399 Warrigal Road, Cheltenham.
Get into sweat tops and pants at Alexander's for just $10 each. Huge range of styles in great winter colours. Only Alexander's can bring you this quality for just $10. Alexander's, the look, the name, the price.
Beacon lighting is still overstocked from our celebration sale, and you can save 40%. Save on temporary heater light and fan, $159.95. Save on low voltage kits from $24.95. Save on 3 light pendants from $39.95. Save on panel pendants from $24.95. Save on Tiffany Easy Fits from $39.95. Save up to 40% now at Beacon Lighting, and ask a Beacon Design consultant for a free home lighting quote. All stores open till 5 this Sunday.
Don't shift it. Hang on, mate.
Keep him back.
Right, get back. Hope you know what you're doing.
Go.
Beauty.
King G. Any tougher, they'd rust. Out they go at Dimmies and Forge's autumn sale. Men's bomber jackets $19.99. At American Smith & Brooks jeans are crazy $12.99. Extra large plain dyed towels $2.99. Ladies and girls flannelette nighties $5.99. Ladies socks 99 cents a pair. Wool blend fabrics $3.99 a metre. Boys briefs an incredible 49 cents. Bonds and Slazenger washback sweat tops and pants only $9.99. Stirrup pants $14.99 and ladies court shoes just $12.99. Where else but at Forge's, Footscray and Dimmies, Richmond, Dandenong, Ringwood and Geelong.
Monday night, the stun gun.
50,000 volts of static electricity through a person.
They're a proven form of self-defence.
A perfectly acceptable weapon.
Why won't the Victorian Police Force allow us to protect ourselves? A special investigation Monday.
This week on Sportsworld, Don Scott, one of the most feared footballers to play more than 300 games. Gerard Healy, who won the 1988 Brownlow medal during his 10th year of league football. 13-time Victorian State of Origin representative, the Geelong Flyer Bob Davis. Peter McKenna, who led the goal-kicking 8 times in 10 years at Collingwood. Ronald Dale Barassi, who was an All-Australian at 3 successive carnivals in 1956, 58 and 61. This is the 93 football panel on Sportsworld.
It certainly is, and it is great to welcome them once again. Good to be back with the panel. Bob Davis smiling with the Cats' performance yesterday. What news do you have, Bob, this week?
Well, I just want to congratulate my friend here, actually.
What's he done now?
Do you remember 40 years ago, yesterday, Ron?
No, I don't, Bob.
You don't?
Well, you tell us, go on.
Was the first day that you graced the VFL arena.
Was it really?
Round 4 in 1953.
That cost me £50
Yeah.
to get a game.
And
yeah.
not only that, Ron, guess where you sat?
On the bench.
That's right. Did you get on, Ron?
I got in the last 2 minutes and did not get a sniff.
Well, one man who certainly did not sit on the bench yesterday and he's been in sensational form is Nathan Burke. The Saints recording a 22-point victory over Collingwood. It wasn't their first win since '76. It was over the Pies, but you have beaten Fitzroy out of Victoria Park. Well done, Nathan. How are the legs this morning?
Not too bad, Sandy. It was pretty hot yesterday, and it was actually good to get onto a smaller ground. So I think the win makes it all worthwhile.
Actually, I don't know whether Kenny's going into poetry or what it is, but I was fascinated to read this quote this morning that he said to you after the game. I don't know if perhaps you're going hiking or something. You could enlighten me. When Ken said to you after the game, "You can kick up a rumpus, but don't lose the compass."
Yeah, Kenny did say that. He often comes out with little quotes like that, but we don't know where he gets them from. I think he's got a quote book somewhere that he...
And Nathan, you've been at St Kilda quite some few years now, and you're a very experienced player. Was this probably, your best win you've been in, apart from perhaps the final?
I think after the game I said to one reporter that probably the 3 best games that I've played in would be beating Collingwood in the final last year, beating Collingwood at Victoria Park this year, and beating them by a point at the MCG last year.
Is that coincidental?
Yeah, it just seems to, when we play Collingwood that the crowds are big and it's always a close game.
Nathan, it was interesting you said just a moment ago it was good to get back onto a smaller ground. Is the Waverley ground finding, is it difficult out there? Is it too big for you, or what do you feel?
Some players around the club like the big ground. I prefer the smaller ground. I like playing at Moorabbin, but Waverley's our ground now, and the last few weeks it's suited our style of play now. But after being on the big ground for 2 weeks, I was looking forward to having a run around on a smaller ground.
That's just the workload, is it?
Yeah. You just to make space, you just got to run a lot further and to chase people and get from one wing to the other. If the ball changes quickly, you just got to run a bit further.
Nathan, congratulations on a fantastic game yourself personally, but the performance of the 2 Aboriginal boys, particularly Winmar, I think he would now be almost regarded as the best player in the competition.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Nicky's got his confidence up now. He's probably, the 4 games we've played, he'd be in the best 2 in every game, and his confidence up, and really there's no stopping him when he gets in that frame of mind.
And Gilbert?
And Gilbert, a couple of Collingwood players had a word to Gilbert before the game started, and it got him fired up, and he was on a bit of a mission, and I don't think they'll be doing that next time we play Collingwood.
We talk about Nicky Winmar being in the best 2. I've seen you at 3 out of 4 games this year, and I reckon you're in the best 4. I reckon you've just done a fantastic job. The transition to become a rover, has it been much? Because you've just slotted in naturally.
I roved our 5 practice matches we had. So Kenny just said, look, we'll take it week by week, and if you keep improving and get the hang of it, well, the spot's there for you. So he gave me enough chances to make it my own. And with injuries to Brady Atkinson, who broke his arm in the first game, we were a little bit short of rovers. So it was a case of have to or go back to the back pocket.
Now, Gilbert McAdam, Peter just mentioned him before. I've never seen him run and chase like he did, but you know, they can run, they go through the motions of guys, but he actually laid tackles. Winmar can do it week after week, but Gilbert did it yesterday. Is that the first time?
Yeah, that's probably the best sort of chasing and harassing game I think I've seen Gilbert play. He not only, when he gets it, you know what he's like. He's very hard to tackle, and he'll kick the goals from anywhere. But the way that he got the ball was very impressive yesterday.
Nathan, stay with us for a moment. Incidentally, if you need any weight work done down at the club, Don at the moment is giving Peter McKenna weight training lessons. So it could be an interesting...
For my poor posture, he says.
I think he used a different word, but we won't worry about that at the moment. Ron, your votes from Victoria Park yesterday.
Yes, well, 2 Aboriginal boys we've been talking about were definitely amongst the best. I think Winmar is probably the best looking footballer to watch when he's in full flight, but I thought McAdam's game yesterday deserved him the 3 votes. He was fantastic in the first half, and that's when St Kilda kept in the game, and then later on in the game took over. So Winmar, 2 votes, and Nathan Burke, our guest today, 1 vote. He played a very, very good game.
Now, Brass, how did St Kilda counter the mosquito fleet of Collingwood?
Well, I think they took a very positive approach. It wasn't so much tagging or anything like that brought the
they won the ball, didn't they?
Collingwood running brigade down. I think they felt the 5-day gap thing. You know, they've had 5 days, St Kilda had 7. Also, both games with Collingwood have played a bit hot days, so it makes a bit of a difference.
Did the rucks have an influence on it?
I thought probably Monkhurst just might have shaded, but there wasn't much in the ruck. All the work was done at ground level. Not many of the high flyers dominated their aerial duels or anything like that. Pert didn't do bad at full back in that area.
Ron, didn't you think it made a big difference when Frawley went on to Rocco, and Rocco was causing Jamie Shanahan a lot of problems and really shut down Collingwood's forward line?
Well, I think the ball got there enough in a good enough way for you to say that completely. The change was on it, and the change was made correctly. St Kilda, full marks to St Kilda, because you know they've been without Lockett, and then they lose Harvey, who was their biggest possession getter when he went off. So that was a hell of an effort.
You were saying that Collingwood didn't come up because of the 5 days St Kilda had the 7.
I'm saying that would be a factor.
Well, surely the training should have been regulated to come up. That is not an excuse, because Collingwood had the chance. They got within 1 kick, and they didn't win the ball when the ball had to be won.
Yeah, because I think they
may have been a mental factor, Don. They haven't got time.
Well, if you're not mentally tough enough to play the game, don't play it.
Geelong played last Monday, by the way. And they won easily.
Since Shaw started to play, Don, the running factor, the recovery factor needed between games is greater.
That's right, and we also played night games through the week as well on a Tuesday or a Wednesday night.
Surely in these days of modern athleticism and training, the coach should be able to work it out for 5 days.
Hey, the coach...
It's not that, is it? Is it the body that can't...
The body.
The body can't accept that.
Just my opinion, and I think it's a very unfair part of the draw, the same as not playing each other twice or just the once is unfair. We've got to get to some sort of draw.
On the rules committee, Ron.
It's nothing to do with the rules committee,
but
mate.
the game's marketed differently, isn't it, nowadays?
We understand all that.
Why don't they play Monday night? They seem to play any other day. Why don't they all have a few days?
I'm just trying to say that a team that has had 5 days to recover should play a team that's had 6 or 5 themselves if they can organise it.
Now, Nathan, you're a player. What do you think about this 5-day v. the 7-day recovery?
Would you play Monday night?
I'd play, any time.
Because he's mentally tough.
But do you think that the extra 2 days is a significant factor?
It can be. If you've got a niggling injury, I know Thursday night might be hard to train, then by Saturday you're right. But like Collingwood, they had 9 days to get over the game the week before. But I think if you're sensible about it during the week with your training, that it certainly does help.
Exactly right.
Well, Nathan, thank you for joining us today on Sportsworld. Good luck out at Waverley, but you might need a compass out at Waverley Park next week, might you?
Might do, yes.
Take on the Blues, but all the best for the remainder of the season.
Thank you.
Nathan Burke joining us on Sportsworld. We'll take a break. More shortly.
Tuesday, help police solve the murder of a young Perth girl whose late night out ended in tragedy. Have you seen Margaret Ann Burney and those responsible for the vicious attack on a uni student who lost his sight in his right eye? Australia's Most Wanted, 8:30 Tuesday. Then, behind the scenes, behind the laughter, is more laughter. See how they make those great commercial send-ups, how they do those musical extravaganzas. It's Fast Forward Exposed, Tuesday 9:30 on 7, right after Australia's Most Wanted.
Coffee and a sausage roll, please.
I know what you have by now.
Thanks.
What do you do anyway?
I'm with the RACV and...
Hey, that's the... What am I going to do now, right? And then that great big tree comes smashing through the roof of the house.
Yeah, that's right. That's the house and contents insurance.
With the
emergency home assist. Yeah, that's right. But that's not what I do.
Every time I see that guy get whacked in the eye with that fish sinker, I go... "Ah!"
That's Aussie Assist. And
That comes with
is...
the comprehensive car insurance. You with him? You bet.
Doesn't talk much.
It's not just another insurance company. It's the RACV.
Here is the biggest one-stop display of Melbourne's finest kitchens. The Custom Tone permanent exhibition of 13 brand new designs, all under one roof, open till 9 p.m. weekdays, all weekend till 5 p.m. And as a special bonus, listen to this. We'll include up to $5,000 worth of appliances at half price in your new kitchen. The Custom Tone Kitchen Display, 2065 Dandenong Road, Clayton. Call in or ring right now, 544-5400 for a free no obligation design and quote on your own home, all suburbs, 7 days and nights a week.
Don't tell me yes! Off the ground, Mr. Magic has done it! Oh, what a magnificent goal! He controlled it beautifully, and he's done it again.
A tap to the advantage of Dacos. Look at the gather. The right foot snap, this is a miraculous kick.
30 metres out, Peter Dacos. 3 kicks, 3 goals! Can he produce something special here? Oh, no. He's kicked that. I will not believe it.
Well, that was another great game, Jimmy. And you're not throwing your racket around these days.
Who, me? No way.
So, what's the secret? You're different. Still at the top, but...
Oh, that's better.
But you're keeping your cool.
Maybe I've grown up a bit. Besides, I can't afford the fines anymore.
Is that all?
Hey, you want all my secrets? Try this.
Lipton Ice, the lightly sparkling lemon tea drink that cools you down, picks you up.
Next.
Yeah, that sister of mine, when she had that prank, she said the RACV saved her a lot of time on the phone.
Yeah, that's the claims hotline.
And they guaranteed the work too, for 3 years.
That's good.
It's not just another insurance company. It's the RACV.
It's the name of the game.
Yes, it is the name of the game. Welcome back. Ron's caused a bit of a hornet's nest here, suggesting that Nicky, who is sensational to watch, is the best player at the moment. Well, Bob and everyone's...
At his best to watch.
At his best, yes. You put him ahead of Greg Williams and Gary Ablett.
If I had to pick a side,
Sandy.
If you were picking a side, a bit different.
Ability and skill.
If you go to watch, that's just for enjoyment. It's just pure pleasure. But if you want to win the match, well, I'd put Williams in.
Winmar wins more games than Williams.
What? Over the career?
Yes, over the career.
Oh,
he has.
Absolute rubbish, Bob. Jared, now that you've told him he's talking absolute rubbish, perhaps we could have your votes from your game yesterday. It was down at Waverley Park.
Yeah, I saw a rejuvenated Geelong really dominate this game yesterday. They made Hawthorn look second rate, and one of the guys that started the ball rolling was Gary Hocking. 40 possessions from the centre, ruck roving. A fine performance. He's in fantastic form and must be running very close to the lead in the Brownlow medal count. Stephen Handley, a mobile, big player, played a centre-half forward, was thrown into the ruck by Blight at a couple of crucial stages. Ran with the ball like a ruck rover, as all big men must do these days to warrant their inclusion. Gave him 2 votes, and Billy Brownless is back in town. 7 goals. He had a couple of mistakes and had the jitters at times, but he is climbing up the scale in form and is going very nicely at the moment. It's good to see him back at full forward.
Gerard, I want you to commit yourself here and don't dodge this question. Are the Hawks gone?
3 little words.
Are they gone?
No, I don't think they're gone. They're certainly not gone, because you could have said the same about Geelong last week, and they bounced back. The Hawks, though, are definitely teetering. A lot of their good players are down. Pritchard hasn't really had a good game this season. Jarman's been in and out. Tony Hall had a couple of good games, but collectively they're not playing with any fire and purpose. They look a little slow. New has retired. Ayres and Langford look a little bit as if they're... Well, there's a bit of a cloud over their long term, as you said last week, Peter. And you wrote Langford off. But,
Who wrote Langford off? I've never written Langford
You
off.
just hate
Don't
full
play
backs.
that.
Now, Gerard.
I just want to make one other comment, Brass, before we go on. Adrian Hickmont, Neild, Pickering, McGrath, Scott and Steele, a couple of unknown players, or players without big reputations, really came to the fore for Blight yesterday. He put a very pacey side in and really exposed the Hawthorn well-perceived lack of pace. And Couch and Buse also showed that they're back in form.
Now, Brownless, we're trying to give him a bunk up.
Yes.
Now, did he get his goals through leading and marking? Did he get any on the ground?
Well, he was instrumental in getting a couple on the ground.
General play?
No, they were mainly from receiving of kicks. But I'd just like to say to Billy that he's a big man. He should use a bit more aggression and push off. Really use his arm and push off.
He was doing that
Dunstall.
last year. He was doing that
and
last
there he is
year.
again taking chest marks. I'd really, as you said, Barras, in your coaching days, you should be taking them out in front so McIntosh and the likes of those fullbacks can't come in and spoil. But
If
he's
you wrap
certainly
your
a lot
arms
better.
around it like that, there's no chance they're going to punch it away anyway.
Oh, come on,
Donny.
Donny.
They're not.
Who coached you? They must have
Hey,
coached you
listen,
better than that.
We
If
were
you mark on
always
the chest-
told to bring it in like that. If we took it out there, you were fooling around at Hawthorn.
Well,
Well,
no wonder they haven't done any well.
But there's no question, McIntosh last year in the grand final spoiled a couple of Brownless's marks because he was trying to take chest marks. If he's taking them out there, he's got far less chance of coming around with a punch. Every kid in Australia is taught that way. Perhaps
Jeez, well, I was taught differently at primary
Well,
school. We
that's
were always
pretty
taught to
obvious, the way you-
wrap the body around the shoulders and arms and hug it to your
well, the
chest.
game, I'm afraid, Don, has gone on.
Don, that was 25 years ago.
And you
were
apparently
talking
were a
about.
bit of a major worry at primary school. Let's remember that. Let's go to Melbourne and North Melbourne. Bob?
Would you like the votes
What's
first?
happened to Melbourne?
Well, Melbourne, unfortunately, aren't playing well at all now. I couldn't get any of them in the votes, even though Lions kicked 5 goals for them. And there were a couple of promising young boys. I thought that Neitz shows something. Hopgood, quite a reasonable player. Obst, not a bad player. But I think it'll be a long time before there will be a premiership flag flying at the Melbourne Cricket Ground for the Melbourne Football Club.
Now, who's the best centre-half forward? Is it Lowe, is it Kernahan, Stoneham, or is it Carey?
Well, Carey certainly fired North Melbourne up in the first quarter yesterday. He's a very nice player, but I felt that I thought he was beaten for quite a bit of the game yesterday.
Answer the question, Bob.
I don't think that Carey is one of the most exciting. Let's put it that way. He's the most exciting of he's not as quite as steadfast as Kernahan. Lowe is probably the best mark, and Stoneham is the most aggressive all-rounder, if you want to put the 4 of them in. Carey, exciting. Stoneham,
Who would you pick first?
Stoneham, if he played there.
He's not playing.
I said if he played there.
Yeah, you qualified it.
Qualified it. North Melbourne are certainly a much improved side. Now, I'm the encyclopedia on them because I've seen them play 4 times this year. I've seen them play the 4 games.
Is there any reason for this, Bob?
Just that I enjoy seeing their improvement.
The flat top still there, Bob?
Hey?
The flat top brigade still there?
Oh, the flat top brigade.
Most of them are down
Most of them are
Geelong.
there. And that boy Stephen is another one of the flat tops. Look, they're all there.
Larkins, is he improving?
He is certainly improving, Larkins. He's made tremendous strides in the last. Pyman's quite a nice player.
Wayne Schwass.
Dean Laidley is an excellent pickup. Now, what happened? Where he came from?
He came from West
the Eagles,
Coast.
yes, but how he got across is a little bit.
By plane, yeah.
Oh, by plane. Aren't they clever?
Biplanes are out.
What do you mean, how did
Monoplanes.
he come across? He couldn't get a go over there.
I couldn't get a go. Why? Mickey Maltese
Well,
didn't
obviously
like
there's
him, or what are you
players. No,
saying?
there's obviously players better over there, but he is a very reliable. I think he's a terrific pickup too.
Bob, can a change of coach make that much difference to a side? What's the importance of a coach?
Oh well, they're getting 200,000 a year. There must be some importance to them. I would imagine that his record as a junior is outstanding. When you look at his record, he must be able to coach. There's
And
no
he
two
coached
ways
a lot
about
of
that.
these North players under 19, didn't he?
Yes, and obviously, I don't know if it's a game plan or whether he just gets them to work well together. But they are now, first of all, running very straight at the ball, which I don't think they did that quite as much. They certainly move up the ground. They all move. They all move well. And
can they make the 6, Bob?
Pardon?
Can they make the 6?
They're very close to making the 6.
They've only played St Kilda, haven't they? A worthy side.
They've got a good draw, and they're looking pretty good at the
Brisbane.
moment.
Their confidence is up. I would look at them to beat most sides at the moment.
Kerry and Longmere.
Right, thank you, gentlemen. North travelling very nicely at the moment.
Yes.
We'll take a break, and then when we come back, we'll go across the border to Football Park.
The name of the game. The name of the game is Australia.
GIO Australia thinks as much of everything in your home as you do. So if your faithful appliance or favourite furniture is stolen or destroyed in a fire, GIO will replace it with a brand new one. New for old, no matter how old. It's a refreshing idea in home contents insurance. Why trust the things you know and love to GIO Australia? To be really sure. Give GIO Australia a call.
It's fantastic.
Incredible.
They say it's full of cheese.
Oh yeah, you can tell.
It's McDonald's Triple Cheeseburger. 1, 2, 3 slices of cheese, 3 all-beef patties with ketchup, mustard, pickles and onions.
It is full of cheese.
McDonald's Triple Cheeseburger.
I wish this could last forever.
No, it's only for a limited time.
It's Mac time.
Sometimes you're offered so many choices, it can get very confusing. But it's not hard to see which everyday bank account to choose. A passbook account? Or a streamline account? Which bank makes banking straightforward? The Straightforward Bank.
It's big, it's huge, it's a carpet call price breakthrough. $39 a metre for this famous Red Book cut and loop. That's right, only $39 a metre. Or carpet 3 rooms for $5.99 fully laid. And here's another price breakthrough. Stainmaster Plush, just $79 a metre. And this pure or Berber, $69 a metre. Price breakthroughs now on at Carpet Call.
So when you want carpet laid, who do you call?
Call, Carpet Call. The experts in the trade.
50% of runners have feet that roll inwards, causing strain on ankles, legs and hips. 20% don't roll enough, which sends a severe shock through the body. To avoid injury, some runners need a shoe made on a curved last. Others need a straight last. The only question is, which runner needs which shoe? Nobody knows the athlete's foot like the athlete's foot.
For over 3 decades, one man has dominated rock and roll, Eric Clapton.
I shot the sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. Lay down, Sally.
17 classics, the making of a legend.
We got me on my knees.
The legend rolls on. The cream of Eric Clapton, out now.
If you're a Fitzroy supporter this year, you need a pretty strong heart, especially last Friday night when the Lions journeyed to Football Park. Just over 45,000 fans there saw the Crows win a thriller, Pete, by a point.
Well, it was a magnificent game and full marks to both sides. 40 players were out there on the ground, and as you look at the votes, and Simon Tregenza, well, he roamed down that wing there and they left him alone, Fitzroy. They gave him plenty of space and he's a very, very quick player. Jimmy Wine was tremendous in the clinches, and best on the ground was Tony McGuinness, who would have played for Geelong many years ago. Bob Davis hadn't have left him outside the Hilton
I
Hotel.
didn't leave him outside the Hilton at all.
Anyway, let's say one thing. Let's forget about Fitzroy being the poor relations of the competition too. Fitzroy are a very good side in their own right. They've got some top players. They're very, very quick. And in fact, they could have wrapped up the game in the first 15 minutes. They dominated for the first 15 minutes and they just didn't put the goals on the board because the Crows have got a very strong defence.
Now, Pete, you've given 3 votes to McGuinness and 2 to Jimmy Wine. and yet they're playing on each other.
Well, I don't think that's important. I think
What do you mean it's not important?
both players
They
were...
don't play on one.
Both
Of course
players...
they do.
Jared.
Wind is
listen.
sent out there to stop McGuinness.
Listen, you were a ruck rover for the Swans for
Well,
years,
that's
getting
easy
your
to-
35
And no one
possessions,
played on
and
it.
your opponent was getting 30 every week. So,
Not-
and you won a Brownlow medal doing
Different
that.
recollection of me, but
And
anyhow,
Brad Hardy was the same thing.
and you also wrapped up Tregenza.
Both players were catalysts in the great performances of both sides.
It
was very hard to
It
pick.
starts with C, Bob. Now, this is Rodney Maynard, who's a good, honest player for the Crows, but the Crows are a very good side. But Fitzroy twice now have gone across to Adelaide. They've taken them on. They've put pressure on them. And, you know, with a bit of luck, could have won 2 games in the last 3 years. But the Crows, to their credit, they were 4 goals down. Modra, in 5 minutes in the third term, taking those big, spectacular marks, he won them the game.
What
in
about
that 5
Lynch?
minutes.
Do you think Lynch is playing out of position?
Well, Alistair Lynch is the best fullback in the competition, in my opinion, and I think he should play at fullback.
You say some
Alistair
incredible
Lynch
things.
is the best fullback in the competition,
he's a
without
very
a
good player
doubt. He's
too,
a
but-
great player. But in fairness to Robert Short, they had to start with Zanotti. He's been playing well at fullback, but Modra was too strong overhead for him. When Lynch went onto him in the last quarter, he took him out of the game. But
You mightn't smoke tobacco, but
you don't think? Well, name me a better fullback than Alistair Lynch.
Pert.
Lynch is quicker.
Yes.
Pert was a better fullback a couple of years
Pert
ago.
is quicker, that's all.
Lynch is quicker.
Oh, sorry, Lynch
Yeah,
is quicker,
Lynch is
that's
quicker.
all, though.
Anyway, that's only a matter of opinion. But
Do you
Fitzroy,
think Fitzroy
very
earned
good
just letting
side.
Tregenza be so loose on that wing?
Well, Jason Baldwin got plenty of touches himself, Gerard, but he just played so wide of Tregenza. Tregenza is the
Tregenza
player-
didn't go in after the ball.
Well-
He stays out, and when...
But that's the point, though.
But
Shouldn't you just have someone...
Well, I don't know,
not
Tregenza
saying whether
has
it's
to be
good play
manned
or
up.
bad, but
Peter,
certainly has
how
an
long
effect
will
in the
it be
game.
before Adelaide suffer a defeat anywhere?
Well, they were nearly lost on
they
Friday
didn't, did
night,
they? They
but
didn't.
they're a very good side,
They're a good
Adelaide.
side, don't
they
worry
are
about
a very
that.
good
Well, that's
side.
what I'm wanting to know.
And they've got
They're
Sean
all
Wren
right.
to come back in. They've got Matthew Robin to come back in. Adelaide
but
is
will
a very
Wren
good
get in?
side.
Because Pittman did all right on
Well,
Friday
Scott
night.
Hodges, will he
Pittman
ever
is-
play?
He'll get in.
Well, Scott Hodges was penciled in as full forward, but Modra's form's so good, he can't get in the side.
Thank you, gentlemen. Very much indeed. Yes, the Crows having plenty of depth there at the moment, but it's early in the season. Let's check the voting because, of course, it was a busy weekend last weekend. Roscoe gave Kennedy, Merritt and Lovell the votes. That was the Brisbane-Melbourne clash. Jared has gone for Guy McKenna, Knights and Worsfold in the Eagles-Richmond clash. Essendon played Collingwood, Gavin Brown, Tony Francis and Craig Starcevich picked up the votes there, all Magpies. Carlton and Hawthorn, a thriller there. Bernie Quinlan, 3 to Tommy Alvin, 2 to the Diesel and 1 to Craig Bradley. And the Cats and the Roos, Wayne Schwass of North Melbourne picked up a best on ground performance ahead of Gary Hocking, who's having a wonderful season. John Longmire has picked up 1 as we pause now and in a moment come back to check the progressive.
The Sportsworld Player of the Year is proudly sponsored by Telecom Australia.
Yes, thank you, Ron. We'll check the progressive now, and Greg Williams of Carlton is leading the way at the moment with 8 votes. Leon Cameron of Footscray and Gilbert McAdam of St Kilda are close behind, just 2 behind. They're on a 6 and a number of players on 5, namely Chris McDermott, Nicholas Winmar and Buddha, all on 5.
Who?
Buddha. When he was a young child, he used to sit in front of the television,
Well, a lot
legs
of
and
people
arms
wouldn't
crossed,
know
and
who
he was
Buddha
overweight.
They'd refer to the
It's
taken in
not
a
his
religious
religion.
contest.
That's
not his
it's not his
religion.
religion, but Buddha, that's how Buddha in the religion used to sit.
How'd he sit, Sandy?
Well,
You've got to cross your legs.
Perhaps Jared could come out and show us.
Come on,
Jared.
get out his legs.
Jared.
Not today.
Get out there, come on.
Okay, let's talk about changes that you'd like to see in the game.
Yes.
And one in particular that I'm sure is going to be a pretty contentious issue with the panel. The advantage rule has been much talked about, has it not?
Yes, well, despite the fact that Peter McKenna has miraculously fallen in love with the umpires in the last couple of weeks, I think they are struggling a little bit with a couple of the rules. Now, the advantage rule is an absolute shocker for mine because the umpires really aren't attuned at making such a quick decision. It was brought in, I think, because of to fall in line with the likes of soccer, but our game is too quick for it. They can't sum up the situation quick enough, and if they could, they'd be winning Brownlows and not voting for them. So I think that has to go completely. And then, OK, there'd be
Some
times...
of the very best umpires
Gerard-
have never even pulled on a football beat, Jared. You're going back to Mr. Elder and Mr. McMurray.
But anyway,
and all
Bob,
those
if we just
fellas.
cut it out completely, there would be some sides suffer, but because it was even, there'd be none of these shocking situations
Gerard,
that are happening at the
Gerard,
present
I've
time.
seen a couple of great umpiring decisions in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, but for every good one,
despite
there's
your
about 100
cynicism.
bad ones.
No, I think the important thing with umpires is if they pay the advantage rule, then they see, which can happen because it's a split-second decision, they see then it's not to the advantage of the team. The umpire can recall it to the original player who would have got the free kick. And that's happened a couple of times recently where umpires have really used their noggin and changed their mind and brought the ball back, and that was top umpiring.
Which is what used to happen in the first place, not exactly as you've described it, but a free kick wasn't given because it had gone to an advantage, and they didn't want to hold up the plate, would be penalising the ball-carrying team. So, and when that was done, without any talk about an advantage rule, people said, oh, that's good umpiring, because it would be just stupid, not non-commonsensical to hold the play up. So that's the opposite of what you're talking about.
But anyway,
They're still
Ron, I
using
think it'd be
common
fair
sense.
to say that there's something has to be done about the rule because there is too many. Now, the second one is the tackling. Now, Don, if you could just get up. And
you sure?
Now, the tackle rule at the present time, if you pin the ball to the player, the perfect tackle as we describe, it's a ball up. But if the player falls to the ground and
It's in the back.
It gets in the back often. And often it's just the player falling to the ground. The holding the ball rule, dropping the ball, fair tackle, really needs to be looked at, I think. And if
But that's been around for a long time.
But
I mean,
if
you're
every
taught.
tackle
Yeah, but
was
you're taught
paid,
not
if
to-
every tackle was paid, whether the ball was pinned, so we're encouraging and rewarding a perfect tackle,
Reward the tackler.
well, then we'd get rid of that...
A perfect tackle is rewarded, provided the guys had some time to get rid of
the ball. Yeah, that's always been
pretty
in,
clear.
and you're also taught not to push the
glad
fellow
you're not
forward
on the
because it's in the
commission
back
there,
when you do
Jared.
tackle. You've got to take him to the side.
Well, then everybody's confused. I'm afraid the umpires must be confused because they don't appear to be playing
Well, the
it
umpire,
correctly.
listen, the trouble with this game is it is open to interpretation.
But that's
there are
why should
no
we-
black and white rules.
Why can't we make it black and white? We're trying
Because
to
it is
sell
very-
the game around the country, and
We're not-
half the supporters can't understand.
I agree with you.
They don't want to understand, Jared. They want to fight and argue amongst themselves.
Well, what
That's
about
part
the
of being
50-metre
to the
one, Bob?
game.
The 50-metre rule
Well, the
really has to
50-metre
go.
rule
Can you
is
explain
a
that?
marvellous rule.
that's not...
It's
no.
a marvellous rule. If the umpires
Exactly.
just gave the free kick when it was necessary and when it was infringed after the free kick, gave the 50 yards, it would be perfect. And that's all there is to be said about the 50
Can we bring
yards.
it back to
That's
25?
all there is to be
No,
said
no.
about it. Thank you, gentlemen. You've stirred the pot very nicely. Robert, you've had the final word again.
Thank you.
And can we have a break now, Bob, please?
Hey?
Can we have a break?
Oh, certainly, a break.
Good. We'll have one right now.
For the very first time, you'll be spellbound by two of the screen's best. Academy Award winner Sean Connery and Michelle Pfeiffer in an unnerving blend of intrigue and romance. I love you. The Russia House, 8:30 tonight on 7.
GIO Australia thinks as much of everything in your home as you do. So if your faithful appliance or favourite furniture is stolen or destroyed in a fire, GIO will replace it with a brand new one. New for old, no matter how old. It's a refreshing idea in home contents insurance. Why trust the things you know and love to GIO Australia? To be really sure. Give GIO Australia a call.
I run a small business, a dozen cabs. You know, it's amazing what we pick up. Phone companies is the big topic at the moment, and I'll admit, I was wondering which one would be best for my business. Well, I found out only Telecom provides local calls, not to mention call waiting and call diversion. You can only get those from Telecom as well. And at the airport the other day, a businessman said they're the only ones that supply the new commander systems. Not to mention the fax stream service. Another bloke was telling one of my drivers just how competitive Telecom's new flexi plans are. They can save almost any business money. Seems like Telecom are the only ones that can provide every service a business needs. So, if you really want your business to go places, ring Telecom. Or me, Globe Taxis. That's the number. Nice one, Nathan.
Telecom. We're talking every service a business needs.
Buy any family-sized Pizza Hut pizza and get any large Pizza Hut pizza free, but only with Pizza Hut home delivery.
Pizza Hut delivery.
Ah, Dairy Box. Parfait. So beautiful on the outside. And in. Mais oui.
Mais oui.
You may.
Dairy Box. What a lovely surprise.
Mitsubishi Triton Utes and Express fans. They only stop when you do.
The Thunder and Lightning returns. See world champs Wayne Gardner and Alan Jones battle it out at Lakeside. Ford takes on Holden, the big two in battle in round 4 of the Shell Touring Car Championship, tonight on 7.
Welcome back to Sportsworld. Time now to check on the best marks and goals of the week. First off, it's the marks of the week with Peter and Ron.
The Mark of the Week and the Mark of the Year are proudly sponsored by Mitsubishi Motors.
Well, here's young Alistair Scott. Terrific leap here. Very clean hands.
And look at the courage shown here by Mark McQueen of the Tigers. Running back with the flight. Oh, he could have been cleaned up at top mark that.
Going in the same direction as the ball.
And here's Dean Kemp. Intercepts here with a one hand, and then with great agility has made the second lunge for the second grab.
Now the lion-hearted big Roger Merritt. Have a look at this in the pack. Coming from the back in the middle. Oh, good mark to the big fella at full forward for the Bears.
And here's another one-hander, followed by a dive. Great agility here, as we know Derek Kickett, the Magic Man, has always shown us.
Now the second best fullback in the competition is Gary Pert, as shown there with that terrific mark at the back.
And here's another Collingwood man, young Severio Rocker. He's out-positioned Anthony Danaher there, who didn't show enough body positioning strength.
Shane Crawford, the youngster from Assumption College, back with the flight, top mark.
Well, here's Stephen Kernahan. Once he stopped the flight of the ball, well, really the rest of it was easy, but the first part was quite difficult.
And the much maligned Billy Brownless. Very strong overhead, a good pack mark, that one.
And Gary Hocking, it's not often you see the taller man beaten so easy, particularly when it's a guy called Stoneham. Great leap by Gary Hocking.
Tony Modra in his purple patch there at Football Park, that was a classical mark.
And Brad Rose shows terrific courage here, and he knocked out his teammate, I think. Had good self-protection as well there.
Now Greg Doyle took the place of Jimmy Steins on the ball, and another good mark in the pack.
Well, in such a galaxy of marks here, that's regulation stuff for Wayne Carey. He's a sensational overhead man.
Now again, courage shown here. Look at this, Tim McGrath. Oh, that is an excellent mark. And you dread that when you're a footballer, Ron, going back with the flight and the pack coming towards you.
I always used to trip at the start. No, just trip at the start, then you didn't have to worry about that.
You were so far in front of the pack, it didn't matter, Peter.
Well, that was very... Who?
You!
Only when Cowboy Neil and Ray Biffin were chasing me, I was always 10 metres in front. And where's Lofts?
He knew nothing about overhead.
I know, never took one in his life. Anyway, the winner's Tony Modra, a classical full forwards mark.
Yes, fine performance by the young South Australian, and he's having a great start to the season. From the marks to the goals.
The Goal of the Week and the Goal of the Year are proudly sponsored by BP.
Well, the first today is over in the West, and this man's got incredible skill. Peter Sumich.
Barry Mitchell, the high-priced recruit, here he comes, showing some of his skill, a lovely left foot swing back over the shoulder goal.
The big fellow, he's got great athleticism, mobility. Here he is, Salmon, getting down. Did he look at the goals? But that doesn't matter, it counted, and he's jubilant.
This fella never looks at the goals. The Macedonian marvel, here he goes, look. He's out of the game, follows up. Now he doesn't have to look, just swings it back, straight through, bisecting the centre.
Now this is a good goal. It's fairly elementary, but the fact is Williams goes onto the left foot, and normally a right foot kick, and for anybody looking in, you've got to be two-sided.
And here's Buddha not being a Buddha, but in fact straying, drove through and showing his strength and kicking a magnificent goal.
Cross legs.
A Geelong youngster, Willison, just getting the ball out of the pack. I don't know if he could do that again, but through it goes.
And as Sandy said, I hope this fella doesn't get himself into a knot, this piece of string, with this marvellous bit of work that he's doing here. Look, firing away, coming back, beating Andrew Jarman, whose hair's over his ears. There he goes, straight through with a magnificent left foot kick.
This man had a sensational day. He kicked some beautiful goals in the first half, and he really kept them going. There's McAdam, roving that hit out.
And a nice goal here by Dean Grigg. Look, finds himself up space, kicks nicely and puts it through. Now, Don, you're having the marvellous selection today.
Well, it was unanimous, wasn't it, Bob?
Yes.
It was over in South Australia on Friday night. Jamie Elliott, at a critical time of the game, it was terrific. Look at the way that he takes off after the ball. Here he comes, in front. And listen, this game was really tight. If you didn't tune and see, at this stage, important goal coming up, and he gets collected.
But puts it straight through. Magnificent goal.
His fine performance by Jamie Elliott as we check the progressives at the moment, and Modra leading the way after bagging 6 on Friday night. He's on 22, 3 ahead of his nearest rival in Jason Dunstall. A couple of games this afternoon, gentlemen. Sydney play Essendon, the Eagles play Brisbane. 2-word answers, please. Jared?
I'll go for the West Coast, and sadly for Swan supporters, their 19th consecutive loss.
They're going to beat Ron's record. What? 20 consecutive losses when he was coach.
At least I didn't coach Victoria to their first loss against South Australia in the MCG.
Anyway. I think you were captain or vice-captain, weren't you?
Gentlemen, you've just
didn't have a go that
your
day
time.
too,
It's been
the coach
marvellous
told me.
working with you
West
again.
Coast.
We'll take a break. It's unanimous. See you after the break.
Live 1 o'clock today, Essendon and Sydney, both desperate for points. And also live, the pumped-up Bears head-to-head with the Eagles. It doesn't come any tougher than this. All the action live 1 o'clock today.
At BP, we train our staff to be quicker and more efficient. Not to mention friendly, which makes your local BP service station a better place to be now, and we're working on ways to make it better in the future. BP, on the move.
It's big, it's huge, it's a carpet call price breakthrough. $39 a metre for this famous Red Book cut and loop. That's right, only $39 a metre. Or carpet 3 rooms for $599 fully laid. And here's another price breakthrough. Stainmaster Plush, just $79 a metre. And this pure wool Berber, $69 a metre. Price breakthroughs now on at Carpet Call.
So when you want carpet laid, who do you call?
Call, Carpet Call.
The experts in the trade.
We've always known how to feel at home, how to make life easy, how to make it fun, with trouble-free reliability and value for everyone. Australians feel at home with Samsung. Feel at home. Australians feel at home with Samsung.
Mademoiselle, I must have chocolate. I am in love. Something special, like you.
Well, I'm sure she'd like this.
Dairy box. Parfait. So beautiful on the outside. And in. Mais oui.
Mais oui.
You may.
Dairy box. What a lovely surprise.
Oh, and this time, please leave me a coffee royale.
Stop wishing for really healthy, shiny hair. Go out and get it with new Pantene treatment shampoo. My hair was brittle and lifeless. Solution.
New Pantene treatment shampoo with Pro Vitamin B5 conditioner that meets the strict standards of the Swiss Vitamin Institute. It penetrates from the roots to the tips, making your hair so healthy it shines. New Pantene Treatment Shampoo. For hair so healthy, it shines.
It won't happen overnight, but it will happen.
Robert Stack returns in the role that made him famous.
Elliot Ness.
I'll take care of Ness.
In the movie that begins where the Untouchables left off.
He was untouchable.
Believe me.
Robert Stack and Lisa Hartman in The Untouchables. Return of Elliot Ness, Monday.
Our time is just about up this week for another Sports World program. Before we go though, Brooke will update the latest sporting happenings around the world, Brooke.
That's right, Sandy. We're starting with golf, and Ian Baker Finch is poised for a final round challenge in the $1.5 million Heritage Classic in South Carolina. Baker Finch is just 3 strokes off the pace following the third round after firing a 2-under par 69. There's a 3-way tie at the top of the leaderboard on 204 between South African David Frost and Americans David Edwards and Paul Azinger, while the other Australians, Craig Parry and Wayne Grady, have slipped out of contention. And hot favourite Damien Hardman has crashed out of the Coke Classic surfing competition at North Narrabeen Beach today. Hardman fell to West Australian Dave McCauley. Will now meet Florida's Todd Holland in this afternoon's first semi-final after Holland defeated California's Chris Brown earlier today. And after winning the IndyCar Grand Prix on the Gold Coast and then crashing out in the second round, Nigel Mansell is back raring to go in pole position for the Long Beach Grand Prix in California. Mansell was fastest in final qualifying in his Ford Lola, ahead of Paul Tracy in a Penske Chevrolet. Emerson Fittipaldi is 1 row back after finishing third fastest. Mansell's incredible, isn't he? He just sort of keeps on going.
You're a real little petrol head. You love it, don't you? Well,
love my cars, yeah.
There's plenty to come, Brooke. So thank you for joining us today. And on the subject of you enjoying your cars, touring cars, as we check our sporting calendar, that action continues. We've got the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. It's round 4 from Lakeside today. Check your local viewing guides for times. In the AFL, a couple of big games. Sydney play host to the Bombers, while the West Coast Eagles over at Subiaco play host to the very much improved Brisbane Bears. Oscar and NASCAR Nationals from Calder, that's on next Sunday, 10:30 through until midnight. But once again, check your local guides for details. And of course, Sports World with Bruce returns next Sunday. I hope you can join him. And I hope also that you've enjoyed the show today.
This has been a 7